Lighting can be really confusing at first, but with a little bit of practice and some help, aka me, you can actually pick it up pretty quickly. Hello, my name is Renee and welcome to my channel where I break down and simplify everything you need to know to make your content look more professional. Let's make something. Today I'm going to show you guys the best and most efficient way to light your scenes while still making it look professional. This is a pretty simple setup. All you're going to need is three things. First and most obvious, you're going to need your camera, and then you're going to need two different lights. As a disclaimer, I will be using professional equipment for this shoot, but just because I'm using professional equipment doesn't mean that you guys have to use professional equipment as well. If I'm being honest, you can use any kind of lights that you have around your house. Of course, professional equipment or equipment that is meant for photo and video is gonna be better, but if you don't have any or you can't afford it, then that's okay. You can still follow along. If you are looking to get something really affordable, then I recommend heading to a hardware store like Home Depot. They have a lot of really good construction work lights that are really good for photography and videos. Just make sure you get something with the color temperature that you're looking for, so don't get something that's super warm if you're not going for that. I made that mistake several times, so just be careful. If you are interested in the equipment that I'm using today, I'm actually using the Neewer SL60W, which is a continuous video light paired with a Neewer hexagon softbox that just makes the light look really nice. And then right behind me, I'm using this LED box light from iCan or Ecan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see it. This simple setup isn't one that most people would consider affordable, but in the photography and videography world, that's a pretty good price. But anyways, let's talk about how to set up these lights and how to make your videos and photos look very professional. The way I'm going to show you guys is we're actually going to watch some behind the scenes footage that me and Marissa took while we were making a mock-up photo shoot. I did it this way, that way you guys can see all the steps and processes that we went through, and so you guys can also see how quick and easy it actually was. But without further ado, let's just jump right into the footage and see how we did this. Alright, so the first thing that I want you guys to notice is that this is done in a bedroom, so it's not a professional studio or anything like that at all. It's literally just a bedroom. Right here, what we're doing is we're just moving everything out of the way, that way we can use that black wall as a background, and we're setting up our lights right now. Alright, so now that these lights are set up and ready to go, the next thing you want to do is position them correctly. So these two lights that you're using today have two different names that we want to classify them under. Your biggest source of light, or the one that you're going to use as the primary source, is called a key light. An easy way to remember this is your main light is the key to success. So the key light is your main light. Make sense? And then the additional light is going to be called the rim light or hair light. And I'll explain in a second why it's called that. A quick tip that I recommend you guys is to make sure to try to block out as much of ambient light that you can. So for example, in this video, you see that there's a light with sun pouring in, but I closed the blinds that way we could get the least amount of light in there possible. The reason being is because if you're able to eliminate the ambient light that is in your scene, you're actually able to control your artificial light a lot better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure that if you are working with ambient light in your scene, that your artificial lights are strong enough to make a difference. This is where buying equipment from Home Depot or other sources might not be so good. Alright, so the setup is pretty simple. All you gotta do is put your key light, again, that's your main light, and you wanna go ahead and put it in front of your subject at a 45-degree angle. What this does is it basically splits the light that is hitting your subject into thirds. This look gives your subject a little bit more depth, and it makes it just look more dramatic. Now your rim light slash hair light is going to be parallel to your key light. So it's going to be behind your subject at a 45-degree angle on the opposite side of your key light. Now the reason why it's called a hair light or rim light is because it shines light on your subject's hair, and if it's a product, then it creates this like rim around the silhouette. This light is really important to make your subject stand out from the background, especially in this scenario where the background is completely black. And just like that, this lighting setup is already finished. Like I said, this is the fastest and best way to light your scene without any issues at all. This is actually the same exact lighting setup that I use in all of my YouTube videos. The way I lit it up right here, the key light is right in front of me and my rim light is right back there. It's exactly the same thing I'm teaching you guys right here. Now the coolest thing about this setup is that you can actually play around with it as much as you'd like. Yes, again, I do think this is the fastest way to do it, but don't be afraid to mess around with your lights and the positioning and the shadows and and play around and experiment with what you think is best. That's the most fun part about lighting, because the little movements that you make to each of the lights makes a huge difference. So again, just play around with it, see what looks best, but if you're out of luck and you need something quick to remember, then remember this video and set up your lights just like this. Now, if you're thinking to yourself like, oh man, this setup just isn't feeling it for me, it's a little boring or a little basic, or I'm tired of using the same thing over and over, then don't be afraid to use other pieces of equipment to add on to this lighting setup. In this footage, I actually thought that the lighting was a little bit boring, so what I did was I grabbed plastic color gels and I put them over the rim light and I turned it a different color. Color gels are a lot of fun and they're really easy to use. Basically what they are, these clear like material type gels that are colored, and you put them over your lights and it immediately changes the temperature or the color of your light. You can do a lot of cool things with this, so just feel free to play around with it. Like I said before, don't just stick to this, build off of this. So for example, if you're shooting something that's a little bit evil or maybe scary, then you can use this setup and then put a red color gel on one of your lights or both of them and just make it look red and dark and ominous. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, the fastest and best way to set up your lighting to make it look professional. I hope I was able to help someone out there, and if I did, please let me know in the comments down below. I can't tell you how important it is for me to know that you guys are actually getting some kind of value out of these videos. And if you want to see more content just like this, please make sure to like the video and subscribe and do whatever you guys do down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys next time. Bye.